What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. Today is main deck Monday. Today we're gonna look at my personal favorite deck in, overall, this is my favorite deck in standard. I know I said this is my favorite decks in Face Collide, but overall I think this is my favorite deck, and it's probably the best deck in the format. I think I could be wrong though. Maybe I'm crazy, but today we're gonna look at a quad Zoroark Yveltal deck. No Yveltal yet, you're using Yveltal and Zoroark as your main attackers, using Zoroark BREAK, Druddigon, and Shaymin. So let's go over the deck and let's see why I think this is one of the best decks. So one of your attackers is going to be Yveltal. It has Oblivion Wing 30, attach a Dark Energy from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon, and Darkness Blade, 100 damage. Flip a coin if tells this Pokemon can't attack during your next turn. Alright, we play the other Yveltal, the Fright Night Yveltal. As long as this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, each tool card of player has no effect, and it has a really cool attack, Pitch Black Spear 60, and this attack does 60 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon EX, which is really nice because that way you can two-shot Shaymin-EXs on the bench. And speaking of Shaymin, we do play two of them to help set up our deck. Now we play a 4-4-2 Zoroark, and if you don't know, Zoroark has a really cool attack, Mind Jack. It does 10, and this attack does 30 more damage for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. And most decks probably fill their bench up, as we saw for the past couple weeks. We saw Zygarde, we saw Mega Alakazam, Night March puts multiple Pokemon down, Greninja puts multiple Pokemon down. All these decks put down so many Pokemon, and Mind Jack can punish your opponent, which is really nice, and that's why I love Zoroark. This is going to be your main attacker. You play two Zoroark BREAK for the foul play. Choose one of your opponent's active Pokemon's attacks and use it as this attacks for a single Dark Energy, which is really cool, and you can pull out some unique plays with Zoroark BREAK. Like, you can copy Shadow Stitching from Greninja and make it where they can't use their abilities, which hurts them a lot, and I love Zoroark BREAK. And one Druddigon for their revenge. If any of your Pokemon are knocked out by damage from an opponent's attack during his or her last turn, this attack does 70 more damage, which is 90, with the Muscle Band 110, with the Giovanni scheme 110. There's a lot of different things you can hit with Druddigon. And the whole point of the deck is we're actually going to try to knock out Shaymin-EXs. Shaymin-EX has 110 HP, right? 110. And remember, Zoroark does 10 plus 30 more damage for each Pokemon on your opponent's bench. So let's say your opponent has 3 bench Pokemon. That's 3, 6, 9, with another energy, or with a plus 10, 100, with the Muscle Band, 120, which is nice. Like, it helps you hit really cool numbers with the Muscle Band. And 3 bench Pokemon, it's not a lot. Like, most decks do put down 3 bench Pokemon, and one of them is usually going to be a Shaymin. And after you're going to knock out these Shaymins, and also you have Druddigon, like I said. Druddigon can hit for 110 with a Muscle Band, which is really nice as well. And you have all these non-EX attackers that are knocking out Shaymins fairly constantly, and they can knock out big EXs too. Like Mega Rayquaza, you can knock out a Mega Rayquaza, which is pretty nice. You can use Zoroark BREAK's Foul Play to copy Ammo Break to actually knock them out if you fill your bench up, which is kind of easy since you play 4, 8, 9, 10, 11 different Pokemon. So that's really cool. Alright, and Zoroark and Zoroark BREAK are just really cool cards, and I love this. Alright, so that's all our Pokemon in the deck. We play one Battle Compressor, discard supporter cards and or energies, one Super Rod to mainly give back Zoras and Zoroarks, shuffle 3, and any combination of Pokemon or energies back into your deck, and 2 Target Whistle, which is how we're going to fill our opponent's bench up. Put a basic Pokemon from your opponent's discard pile onto their bench, and most of the time we are picking out Shaymins from their discard pile, put it to their bench, and that way we can knock them out, which is really nice. So we can Target Whistle, Lysandre, take a knockout with Zoroark, which is probably the coolest play. 4 Trainers Mail, 4 Ultra Ball, 4 via Seeker, pretty common stuff. Now, we play one Giovanni scheme. The most part we're doing is to use the second thing. You do 20 more damage to the opponent's active, or you do 20 more damage to the active Pokemon on your opponent's side of the field, which could help hit numbers if you native via Seeker for plus 20. Giovanni scheme is there to hit that number. 1 Hex Maniac to shut down abilities until the end of your opponent's turn. 2 Lysandre, 1 in, which is amazing. This used to be a judge, but now it's an in. Both players shuffle their hands into deck and draw as many cards as they have prize cards left, which you can prize decks that take quick knockouts like Night March. 4 Sycamore, 1 Xerosic, discard a tool or special energy card in play. 2 Reverse Valley This, you basically use it for the bottom side, I guess is what you want to say. Choose which way this card faces when you play it. This attack does 10 more, or your dark Pokemon do 10 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. Once again, that does some neat things with Zoroark. Once again, they have 3 Pokemon down, that's 3, 6, 9. Plus the 10, 100, with the Reverse Valley is 110. So not only do you have Muscle Band, you have Reverse Valley as well to hit these cool 110 numbers to knock out Shaymins. 2 Float Stone, because you gotta remember Zoroark does have the stand-in ability. I haven't really talked about this, but when Zoroark's on your bench, you can switch it with your active. And then you have Float Stone to get free retreat, which is really, really nice. 3 Muscle Band to do 20 more damage. Once again, we're trying to hit cool numbers with this deck. And combining this with Muscle Band, Reverse Valley, and Giovanni's game, you can hit these. 4 DC and 6 Dark Energy. And that's deck right here. It's a pretty simple deck. Get down multiple Zoroarks, take knockouts. But there are some pretty cool strategic plays. I know game number 2, we pull off probably my favorite play, which is Sky Returning. And we'll see what happens when you Sky Return into certain Pokemon against certain matches. It's really neat. But hopefully you enjoy this deck list. Like I said, I don't know if I said this, but I think this is probably the strongest deck coming up for Nationals. I know Nationals is like 2 months away, but this is probably my favorite deck right now to play, and it'll probably stay that way. Like, it's such a good deck, and you can beat pretty much everything except like Mega Manectric. Like, you probably just like losing its Mega Manectric because you can't knock them out. They play out Rough Seas, and you know it's really bad matchup. But besides that, I think this deck has really good matchups overall. I think it can beat everything like Trevenant, Night March, Greninja. Regular Yveltal decks because you don't play any EX Pokemon. It's a really, really nice deck. But hopefully you enjoyed this deck list. Thanks for watching, and let's see the deck in action right now. Alright, playing against Divine Calamity, playing a Grass and a Colors deck. This could be a Vesquire Vileplume deck. Oh man, my opponent's going first. Let's see what's going to happen. It could be a superior deck, and if that's the case, we are going to destroy it. Alright, so we got an Yveltal. At least we have Attacker on the first turn and a Sycamore. If it is Vesquire Vileplume, if it's superior, there's your Shaymin. Still don't know what it is. It most likely is going to be a Vesquire Vileplume deck, which I think is still going to be very popular in like Nationals coming up. So wait, oh nope, there's superior. All right, so I'm actually okay with this. Woo! All right, superior. This is going to be a fine matchup for us. So Grass Energy on superior. Super Scoop Up, trying to pick up that Shaymin. Tails, okay. A Super Scoop Up again. Heads, going to pick up that Shaymin. Send up the Snivy. Going to put it back down, and we'll see a Shaymin setting up for 5. Now, the reason why this matchup is so good is because we have Zoroark. We can just stand in multiple Zoroarks, and pretty good to go. The only bad thing is my opponent can manipulate his bench and make it have so many, like, just, like, different Pokemon, and, like, so few Pokemon on their bench, which could hurt us. And just to pass on to our turn, no supporter card. Okay? Summon Ultra Ball, discard a Dark and a... Now let's discard a Shaymin and a Giovanni's game. And with this, we're going to get a Zora. And actually have a weird play we can do. So we're going to have a Zora. We'll put that down onto the field. And we're going to Super Rod to shuffle that Shaymin back into the deck. So that way we can use it later. So yeah, let's put the Shaymin back into our deck. And let's just Sycamore. If we hit another Dark Energy, we can use a Blivwing, attach a Dark Energy to our Zora. And we whiffed it. Okay, so we're going to Ultra Ball. We're going to discard Yveltal and a Shaymin. We're going to grab another Zora. Come to me, Zora. So we have 2 Zoras, turn 1. We could put another one down. I think that might be okay. Muscle Band to 1. Trainers Mail. Going to get a Battle Compressor. Yeah, that seems fine. And with the Compressor, we can discard cards, like discard supporter cards like Hex Maniac seems great, Xerosic seems great, and Lysandre seems great. Wait, do we already have a Lysandre in discard pile? We do. So let's keep the other Lysandre in our deck. So we have 1 in our deck and 1 in our discard pile. And yeah, I think we'll just discard these 2. That seems great. And let's go for a Shaymin setting up. Yeah, we couldn't have... Yeah, there's no way... Oh, man, we could have knocked out the Snivy this turn. If we Muscle Band, Dark Energy, Reverse Valley... Oh, man. Alright, we still wouldn't have got it. So, Dark Energy the active, and we'll go for a Blivwing, doing 30 to the Snivy. We'll put a Dark Energy on the Zora without the Muscle Band, because we have a DC for the one with the Muscle Band. On to our opponent's turn. Next turn, we can get down 2 Zoroarks, which is amazing. And this is how great the deck is. There's a Servine coming down. Going to paralyze the active if they flip heads, and they do flip heads, but that doesn't matter. We have Zoroark in our hand. And 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we can take a knockout this turn. There's an Ultra Ball discarding a VS Seeker and a Lysandre. This could get out of Superior. Oh, another Shaymin coming down. Oh, this is going to be so bad for my opponent because we can easily just knock out these Shaymins and then target whistle some more out. So this is not going to be pretty. This is going to get ugly real quick. All right, a Snivy coming down. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12. So yeah, we can take a knockout on a Shaymin this turn. There's a Vine Whip for only 40 damage. All right, on to our turn. We get a Zora. We'll put down a Zoroark. Put a DC on the Zoroark. We will via Seeker for Lysandre. Bring up that Shaymin. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12. And this is why this deck is so good. If your opponent benches 3 Pokemon, you can Lysandre or Shaymin. Stand in. I guess I'll put down a Zora. My opponent can't play an in, so I'd rather have multiple Zoras down, and we'll use Mind Jack for the knockout. Should do 120. Alrighty, and we'll go down to 4 prize cards. Let's see, we get a Dark and a in. Okay. We can get another Zoroark out next turn. We have Ultra Ball discarded in, Dark Energy. We top deck a Lysandre. We can maybe take another knockout. There is a Servine hitting heads. But we have another Zoroark ready to go next turn. There's a Trainers Mail. Gonna grab a VS Seeker. Is there an in of the discard pile? There's a Teammates. So they can VS Seeker for Teammates. Grab any 2 cards out of their deck. There's a VS Seeker. Most likely see a Teammates. Gonna grab 2 cards. And I wonder what those 2 cards are going to be. Now, if it is Superior, I don't think we take a knockout as of right now. Just like straight up. But can my opponent knock us out? I'm not sure. I can't remember the numbers on Superior. There's 2 cards going to their hand. Of course, we don't see it with Teammates. And let's see, what do they get? Okay, so there's Superior going to the bench. Alright. Coil and Slashing Strike. They could have knocked us out this turn. Oh, they're going to retreat to this guy. They're going to take a knockout. So there's a Coil. They're actually going to use Coil and not Slashing Strike. That's fairly interesting. Alright, so Zoroark coming down. We will Dark Energy this guy. And we'll Sycamore discard our hand, draw 7 new cards. And let's see what we get. There's a Target Whistle and Yveltal Reverse Valley. So let's see. 3, 6, 9, 10. Yeah, we can take a knockout this turn. We can Reverse Valley. Press done. Use Target Whistle, bring out that Shaymin. We can stand in with the Zoroark, and this should be a knockout, unless I'm bad at math, which, sometimes I am bad at math, but I think we got it this time. So let's use Mind Jack, should be a knockout, and yep, there's 110 exactly to knock out the Superior. Alright, so good out of 3 prize cards. It's not looking good for my opponent. There's another Zoroark, so you have 2 Zoroarks once again coming out. There's a Servine, yeah, there's a Sycamore. Go and discard the hand, draw 7 new cards. Right now, we can't take a knockout on a Zoroark on a Superior as of right now. They receive Victory Scream. My opponent can see it in the game, and you can see like a lot of people do like Superior, but I think this is one of the problems with the Superior. If you do play a Zoroark deck, there's no way you can beat it, and you can see why this deck is so strong. Like my opponent thought, like, oh, there's no way they can take a knockout this turn, but we have 2 Target Whistles, so that's fairly easy to do. With multiple Trainers Mail, you can hit it pretty easily. Let's see, what do we get off the Mystery Wheel? We get 25 tokens. Alright, but give me a second. We'll see one more game with the deck here in a second, and we'll see what happens with the Quad Zoroark deck, which man, if you don't know, I love this deck. Right? Like I've said before multiple times, I think this is probably the best deck in standard format. But give me a second. We'll see one more game with the deck here in a second. Alright, playing against Brady's mom, dad, playing a Psychic, Colors, and a Lightning deck. This is definitely going to be a Night March deck, so I'll call it coin flip like always in heads, and we will be going second, which is kind of unfortunate because if it is Night March, we need a turn to put down our Zoroarks and stuff, and let's see, can we beat the Night March deck? Alright, so our hand is not the greatest, but it's actually kind of okay if my opponent starts with a Joltik, and I'll show you why here in a second. So let's see what does my opponent start with, and there is a Joltik. Okay, so what we can do this turn is we can Sky Return and actually knock out the Joltik and send somebody else up. There's a Battle Compressor. Go discard 3 cards out of their deck, and let's see what they decide to discard. Probably some Lampus, probably some Pumpkin Boost, maybe, like, most likely Lampus. So there's 3 Lampus going into the discard pile. Alrighty, there's a Trainers Mail. Gonna look at the top 4 cards of their deck, and let's see what do they decide to get. An Ultra Ball, okay. And let's see what my opponent Ultra Ball is for. There's a Trainers Mail again, okay. Kind of weird that I I guess they want to see if they have a supporter card or not. There's another Battle Compressor coming down, which they can discard more Lampets. They do have 3 in the discard pile. There's another Battle Compressor coming down. Go ahead and discard 3 cards out of their deck, and let's see, what do they discard? Probably a Lampet and maybe 2 supporter cards. That'd be like my... Okay, a Lampet and 2 Pumpkaboos. Alright, it seems like my opponent's opting to keep his Joltix instead of the Pumpkaboos. There's an Ultra Ball discarding in and a Target Whistle. But you gotta remember, my opponent probably plays a Puzzle times, or plays Puzzle of times to get back the Target Whistle. Alright, so he's gonna discard those. Does he get a Shaymin or not? None of the Joltik is coming down. And what we gotta hope is that my opponent does bench some Shaymins. There's a Joltik coming down. There's a Shaymin. So yeah, he is going to bench Shaymins, which is great for us because we can license those guys up and take knockouts on them. There's a Shaymin setting up for 6 whole new cards. And the question is, what can we top deck? There's a Fighting Fever going down to the Joltik, which I don't really care about if our Fright Night Yveltal is prized. It's not prized. If our Fright Night Yveltal is not prized, we get Sky Return 2-1 and knock out the Joltik, which is what I love doing against this deck. Like Sky Return, send up a Fright Night, takes the knockout because the tool is not working anymore, which is always amazing. We're going to see a 3rd Battle Compressor coming down. Wow. Okay, so Lysandre teammates and I think another Battle Compressor. Yeah. So 4 Battle Compressors, 4 Lampet, 2 Pumpkaboo, a Float Stone, another Shaymin coming down as well. So it seems like opponents like really want to play these Shaymins and draw a bunch of new Shaymin. Okay. And I'm fine with this. Like, we have enough to knock out a Shaymin now. There's a Pumpkaboo coming down. And yeah, we can easily knock out these Shaymins with Zoroark. There's a Trainers Mail. Gonna look at top 4 cards of their deck. And let's see what they decide to get. There's a Puzzle of Time. Alright, and let's see, will we see a pass, will we see a supporter card play, and what will we top deck is the real question. Pass onto our turn. Okay, so we get a Zoroark. Alright, we're going to Trainers Mail, look at top 4 cards of our deck, and wow, there is nothing in there. 2 Zoroarks, 2 Zoras, and a Dark Energy. So we'll press done. We'll play DCE. We'll Muscle Band the active. Shaymin setting up for 3, which is unfortunate that we hit the bench one. And let's see, what do we get with these 3 cards? Okay, so we get an Yveltal. We will Float Stone the Yveltal, and we're going to Sycamore, discard our hand, draw 7 new cards. We're looking for Zoras. Oh, no, we whiffed it. We whiffed oh man, we whiffed the Fright Night, which is unfortunate because we have this Yveltal down. Okay, so let's put down the Zora. Let's use Battle Compressor with Compressor. We're going to discard, I think, like, maybe a Xerosic. Yeah, we discard a Xerosic. Discard a Lysandre. Yeah, Lysandre, and these seems like great cards. Discard. Yeah, the Fright Knight's in the deck as well. So if we would have drew to it, it would have been A-okay. So we're going to discard those 3. And alright, so we get Sky Return. Send in this guy. We don't take a knockout. Yeah, I think we're going to Sky Return for the 30. Taking the knockout on the Joltik. Send in the Yveltal. Because what we can do next turn is we can VS Seeker for Xerosic, knock this Joltik out, and maybe try to Sky Return this Joltik for a knockout as well. The only problem is my opponent might send up the Pumpkaboo, but if they do that, well, we can't really retreat our Shaymin after we put a DC on it. There's a VS Seeker, and they're probably going to grab... Oh, we're going to grab an N. I'm actually okay with this. Like, that's kind of strange they're grabbing it in. I guess their hand must be bad. Does my opponent find a DC or not? That's the question. And let's see, what do we draw into? Okay. Oh, man, I was hoping we get like a VS Seeker DCE Zoroark. That would be amazing. But DC to the active. We're going to see a Night March for the knockout. My opponent will go down to 5 prize cards. And yep, there's a Night March. All right. Going to do 260 damage. Going to go down to 5 prize cards. Let's send up our Zora. And on to our turn, what's going to happen? There is an Ultra Ball. Okay. Alright, so we're going to Ultra Ball, discard Zoroark Break, and a Muscle Band. With this, we can either grab a Zoroark. How many Float Stones are left in our deck? There's 1 Float Stone, okay. So we can either grab a Zoroark Break, or a Zoroark or a Zora. I think I'm going to go with a Zora. Let's go for a Zoroark. That seems like a cool play. So we'll grab the Zoroark. We'll put down the Yveltal. Put down the Zoroark. Muscle Band the Yveltal. And we're going to Target Whistle, put a Pumpkaboo back onto the field. Just so that we were not wasting the Target Whistle. So let's bring that guy out. And let's use Sycamore. Discard our hand. Draw 7 new cards. Alright, so we got a DCE Trainers Mail. Well, Trainers Mail, let's see, can we find a Float Stone? We do get a VS Seeker, okay. We can Mind Jack for the knockout. Yeah, so we're gonna Mind Jack for the knockout. We should have Ultra Ball for another Zoroark. That's my mistake. Sorry about that. We're taking a knockout, going down to 5, or go down to 5. There's a Giovanni scheme, okay. I still have a cool play we could do next turn. There's a Shaymin coming up. My opponent probably has probably just a DC in their hand. If my opponent attacks with a Joltik, I think I'm gonna go Ultra Ball, discard Giovanni scheme, and a Dark. Put a DC on Shaymin, a Sky Return while grabbing an in, put my opponent at 4 cards. There's a Teammates, okay. Teammates gonna get 2 cards out of their deck. Or 82 cards into their hand, sorry. Alright, so Teammates might grab Puzzle Times, might grab something else. But at least we can end our opponents. And we might discard like the Giovannis and maybe the Dark. And we get Sky Return, send in the Fright Knight, take a knockout on the Joltik. Now if they attack with Pumpkaboo, we can attack with the Yveltal for the knockout. But if they attack with Joltik without a Fighting Fury Belt, we can take a knockout as well. But there's a Fighting Fury Belt, okay, so we'll go down to the Joltik. My opponents already play Teammates. We'll see Retreat, and they can't Lysandre this turn because they've already played the Supporter card. And we're going to see a Night March for the knockout, doing 130 damage. Alright, on to our turn. We're going to send it to Shaymin. Like I said, we're going to grab that Fright Knight Yveltal. I think that's the best play as of right now. So on our turn, we get a Reverse Valley, summon Ultra Ball, discard Giovanni scheme, and the Dark Energy. We probably need to keep the Reverse Valley. With this, we're going to grab a Fright Knight Yveltal. Put a Yveltal down, DCE this guy, and we'll VS Seeker for it and put my opponent at 4 cards. And we can take a knockout when we Sky Return, which is pretty cool. So let's grab an in, and hopefully we can find a Zorua. Alright, so no Zorua, but we get a Druddigon, which is really nice, so we can easily revenge knockout. So let's put down these Druddigon, and let's Sky Return for 30. Take a knockout on this guy. We'll send it to Fright Knight, which it doesn't take a knockout immediately, but once we send it to Fright Knight, tools are turned off. We'll go down to 4 price cards. There's a Lysandre. Alright, on to my opponent's turn. Let's see what happens. Okay, here comes a Pumpkaboo. But the thing is, there's no Shaymin's in our discard pile, which is really nice. And what we can do next turn is we can send up Yveltal, take a knockout. There's a DC on the active. We can use a Oblivion Wing. Does my opponent have a Lysandre and a Dimension Valley? That's the real question. With 4 cards in their hand, it's not likely, but it could happen. There is 2 VS Seekers and a Lysandre. There's an Acrobike, discarding a Dimension Valley. Okay. The other card must be really important. They decided to keep that instead. There's a VS Seeker, and let's see, do they have a Lysandre? Nope, gonna grab a Teammate. It's gonna get 82 cards out of their deck. Okay. And let's see, we can take a knockout on the Yveltal. Opponent will go down to 3. Okay, we'll go down to 3 as well. They take a knockout, we'll go down to 2. And we can maybe knock out the Shaymin for the last 2 prize cards. We're going to see Teammates grab 82 cards out of their deck. Can they find a Dimension Valley? I mean, most likely they're playing Teammates, so hopefully they can find one. Like, why wouldn't they be able to? That'd be very strange if they didn't find one. But if we could top deck another supporter card, that would be great. We could play Super Rod this turn. Maybe VS Seeker for an end, put our opponent down to 3 prize cards. There's the Dimension Valley coming down. We'll see a Shaymin coming down. And that's kind of interesting because now we have multiple Shaymins that we can knock out while my opponent can't even target us a 1 out. Okay. And let's see what else. There's a Joltik coming down, which I don't... Let's see. How many... Have they played any puzzle times? They haven't. Alright, so we see a knockout. My opponent will go down to 3 prize cards. But if we can end them, and they can't find the DC or puzzles, we could eventually, or we could maybe make it where they can't attack us next turn. So on our turn, what do we top deck? There is an Ultra Ball, okay? Yeah, I think we're gonna, Ultra Ball, discard, I think a Float Stone, and a Lysandre. And with this, we'll grab a Zorua. Okay? We will put down the Zorua, put a Dark Energy in the active, and we are going to, yeah, we're just going to use a Oblivion Wing. I really don't want to use the Super Rod as of right now. Yeah, we'll Oblivion Wing, putting an energy onto our Zorua, because we have the DC for Druddigon for the next turn if they knock us out. So we'll put a Dark Energy on the Zorua, okay? We'll go down to 3 prize cards. Opponent will go down to 2. We'll take a knockout. Go down to 2, then they go down to 1. Yeah, we should be able to win this game. On to our opponent's turn. They have to like, yeah, they can't take any EX knockouts while we can. How many VS Seekers have we played? We've played one VS Seeker, two Lysandres are played, no Shaymins haven't played as well, and 3 Ultra Balls. Alright, so we have a likelihood of like drawing into better stuff than our opponent does. They've already played, what, 3 VS Seekers, but they haven't played Puzzle Times, which is kind of the interesting thing. But let's see what my opponent does. Now, if my opponent, let's see. I mean, we have so many options to win. Like, oh my goodness, it's not even funny. There's a DC going to that guy, okay. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12 with a muscle band. If we target whistle, we can bring another Pokemon out. Trying to decide which one is better. Do we save the Druddigon for the last 2 prize cards, but we don't have the DC just yet? There's a VS Seeker, there's a Lysandre, and I wonder who they're going to bring out. They get Lysandre, bring out the Zorua, which I'm okay with, because we can still take a knockout on this Pumpkaboo, going down to 2, and then we can maybe knock out the Shaymin. So my opponent's going to go down to 2 prize cards. Okay, let's see, do we top deck an in or not? That would be great. Put my opponent down to 2 cards. Let's go Yveltal. If we draw into a Zorua, we pretty much win the game. So on our turn, we get a VS Seeker. Alright, so we're going to DC this guy. We don't want to play an in. That's the for sure thing we don't want to do. If we play the in, we make it, or Sycamore, we make it where our opponent can VS Seeker, or play Target Whistle, and put stuff back in their hand. So let's use VS Seeker. We're going to play an in, put our opponent down at 2 cards, while we get 3, and hopefully we can find another Zorua. Is there any left in our deck? There's 2 in the discard pile. I believe, how many VS Seekers have we played? I think 3 now? Oh no, 2, okay. So 18 cards, we'll put 3 left. Yeah, let's put Super Rod, and with this, we'll put 2 Zoras and a Zoroark. I think that's going to be okay. Give us better options to draw into our Zoras. So let's play in, put my opponent down to 2 cards while we get 3. And let's see what our 3 are going to be. There's a Dark, Zorua, and a Target Whistle. Okay. So put down the Zorua. And do we use Target Whistle or not? That's the real question. No, let's play Target Whistle just in case our opponent ends us. We'll grab a Joltik. That seems fine. And we will Oblivion going down to 2 prize cards as well. But we can win the game next turn. Let's put a Dark Energy on our Zorua. Do we have any Muscle Bands left? One's in the discard pile. Okay, so we should be fine. There's a Sycamore. That's not a Lysandre. We need a Lysandre this turn. Here comes a Shaymin. My opponent has 2 cards, now 3. I wonder where the 3 cards are right now. There's 4 VS Seekers in the discard pile. 1 Lysandre. Okay. But no Puzzle Times have been played. Do they have any Puzzle Times in their hand as of right now? 2 of them is what they want to see. I don't think we can actually... Yeah, we actually can't win next turn unless we top deck what is it? A Shaymin. But we see a Puzzle Time. Gonna put any 2 cards in their hand. I imagine they're playing... I wonder if they're rearranging or playing 2. I hate that we really can't tell. Now, if they are rearranged in the top 3, we're gonna... I think, yeah, they must be a... I can't tell. Can we... Oh, no, wrong button. Hold on, don't click that. It says they played Puzzle of Time, but that doesn't say they played 2 Puzzle Times. Oh, no, they played 2 Puzzle Times. Okay, so I'm gonna put a DC and a Lysandre in their hand. They'll go down to 1 card, a 1 prize card. Okay, so there's a Lysandre. I wonder who they're gonna bring out. They're gonna bring out the Zorua. They're going to send the Joltik, take a knockout, going down to 1 prize card. How many Puzzle Times have they played? 2, 3, 2 Puzzle Times have been played. We'll see a Night March for the knockout. Okay. So 1 to 2 on prize cards. My opponent has 2 cards in their hand. Let's go, Yveltal. Let's see what's going to happen. On to our turn. Do we get an in? There's a Dark Energy. Okay. So we're going to put Dark Energy in the active. We'll play a Sycamore. Can my opponent win the game next turn? That is the question. We have a Zorua, which we can put down. And we are going to use Oblivion for the knockout. Can my opponent find a DC or not? That's the question. We'll put a Dark Energy on the Zorua. And let's see what's going to happen. 1-to-1 on prize cards. We know my opponent didn't play one of the cards, which could be a Sycamore. How many have they played? They have played 1 Sycamore. Oh man, so 2 cards, 3 cards for my opponent. What are they? Can he find the last DC or not? Or 2 Puzzle Times. There's a Trainers Mail. Gonna look at the top 4 cards of his deck. Does he find anything or not? Oh man, this is exciting. So there's Sycamore. Okay. He's going to Sycamore. Discard his hand. Draw 7 new cards. There's a Mew coming down. Okay. And we'll see a Megaphone getting rid of the Muscle Band. And there's a Sycamore going to discard the hand draw 7 new cards. Does he find 2 Puzzle Times or DCE? That is the question. Did he not get it? Oh, wait for it. Wait for it. Does he have it or not? He has 1 prize card left. 3 in the... Oh, man. Oh, man. I hope he's not... Okay, 4 Trainers Mails haven't played. There's an Ultra Ball. Going to discard a Hex Maniac and a Pumpkaboo. Does he have any Shaymins left? He's played 3 so far. He looks like he didn't get anything. Does my opponent not have it? Oh, my goodness. Did we win this game by luck? Is my opponent slow rolling us? Do we have it or not? That is the question. Because if he doesn't, we can put down a Zorua, Lysandre. There's an escape rope. We'll send in the Druddigon. I'm not sure what's going on, but let's see what my opponent decides to send in. There's a Shaymin coming up. Okay. And a pass onto our turn. Alrighty, so we can put a Dark Energy on this guy. Put down Zorua. 3, 6, 9, 12. We will stand in and we will take a knockout and win the game. Alright, so we'll Mind Jack for the knockout, taking the win against Night March, doing 130 damage to that Shaymin-EX. And there you go. There's Zoroark versus Night March. That was a really close game. The only bad thing is we didn't put down multiple Zoruas, but you can see how great of a deck this is and how we could beat Night March. I was really strategic, like, you know, making sure we Sky Return, making sure we don't have any Shaymins in our discard pile, not benching any Shaymins. And, I mean, eventually we both just took 6 prize cards. Like, that's how we play the game out, which is fairly interesting. Collect 100 prize cards. We collected 6 this game, but there you go. There is Quad Zoroark. I think this deck is really good. Like I said earlier, I think it's one of the best decks in the standard formats. I have a lot of fun playing this deck. Make sure you test it out. I know Nationals is really far away, but I think this is probably my #1 contender as of right now. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Alrighty. Bye. Alright guys, just want to give a quick shout out to our 2 sponsors, 60 Cards and Yeti Gaming. The links are down below to their websites. Make sure you go check them out. Alrighty.